Oh my, just when you thought it was safe. I kind of assumed that they weren't going to be making any more casting announcements. What was out there, and we probably weren't going to hear anything more until it was time for the movie to come out. But over the last few days, something did come out in a pretty big one. I had kind of moved on to other things and took a peek around, and lo and behold, they have announced who is cast as Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts. But it's been about 3 months ago, they announced that Brady Pierce was going to be playing Michael Hayes in the Iron Claw. But over time, no word on who would play Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts. I thought, well, maybe the way they're shooting it, those are going to be minor roles or something. But they finally actually have. And it is two professional wrestlers. Just as Brady Pierce is also a current professional wrestler. And playing the part of Terry Gordy will be Thrillbilly Silas Mason. Mason is 31 years old. He stands 6 foot 6 inches tall and near 300 pounds. No S on that. Mason is a native of Tennessee, just like Gordy. Growing up in Maryville, he attended the University of Tennessee, and that's where he got into professional wrestling and began training with Chase Owens. Mason started out wrestling under the name Cassius Coons for Southern Underground Pro in Tennessee before moving on to Southern Honor Wrestling in Georgia. It was in SHW that Mason broke his leg in a match against Davey Richards, which put him out of action for almost 9 months. That might have ended a lot of wrestling careers, but Dr. Tom Pritchard actually introduced him to National Wrestling Alliance owner Billy Corgan, who was impressed with his size and look, and immediately put him in a match with Luke Hawx and reinvigorated his career. He went on to win the IWA Mid-South Tag Team Championship with Devin Dixon, and is a regular on NWA Power Tapings. And of course, Mason will be playing Terry Gordy, who was originally from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Amazingly enough, he started his pro wrestling career when he was only 14 years old, under the name Terry Mecca, after being trained by Luthez and the Mongolian Stomper. Of course, he didn't start wrestling regularly until 1977 in Memphis, when he started using his real name of Terry Gordy, and he was still only 16. In early 1978, Gordy moved on to the Mid-America territory based in Tennessee, and by the end of the year, had formed a tag team with Michael Hayes called the Fabulous Freebirds. In January of 1979, the Freebirds won the first of many titles, taking the Mid-America Tag Championship from Bobby Eaton and George Goulas. And by July of 1979, Gordy and Hayes moved on to the Memphis-based CWA, and that's where things really started to take off. I'm not even going to try and list all the championships and accolades in Gordy's career, but it was a lot. And we'll get more about the Freebirds here in just a minute. So, Hillbilly Silas Mason playing Terry Gordy. I think that's he looks the part. He looks pretty good for the part. I think that is, at least on the surface, the way he looks, that's some pretty good casting. Definitely needed the big guy, and he has a great look for Terry Gordy. And cast in the part of Buddy Roberts is another pro wrestler named Danny Flamingo. And I have to admit, I couldn't find a lot of information on Danny Flamingo as far as his history. I was able to put together some things from his career. I'll also point out there are some names I will likely say wrong in this. He is originally from Chalmette, Louisiana, and broke into pro wrestling in 2013. Flamingo has spent most of his career in Wildcat Pro Wrestling based in Louisiana, but he has also appeared in Power Slam Wrestling, Evolved, MCW, and Dragon Gate, among others. He also made his first appearance for the NWA in November of 2022 at Revolution Rumble in his hometown of Chalmette, as well as being on NWA Power in Chalmette, where he defeated Chris Steele. Flamingo won the Wildcat Revolution title in November of 2016 by winning the Revolutionary Rumble in Metairie, Louisiana. I know I said that wrong. He held that title for 210 days, losing it in June of 2017 to Socorro in Philadelphia. But that's like I say, not a lot of information about Danny Flamingo out there as far as I could find. But he will be playing the role of Buddy Roberts. If you want a more in-depth look at Buddy Roberts' career, you can check out the world-class bios I did on him by clicking the icon in the upper right-hand corner or the link in the description. For the short version, Roberts was born in Vancouver, British Columbia, and started his career with a short stint in Stampede Wrestling before moving on to Montreal. He then came to the United States to work in the AWA when he caught the eye of Bill Watts, who brought him to the Tri-State territory for his first big push as part of the Hollywood Blondes with Jerry Brown. After the Blondes had an amicable split in late 1977, Roberts came to the Dallas territory under the name Dale Valentine and was presented as Johnny Valentine's brother. Roberts then got a call from Watts to return to what was then called Mid-South Wrestling, where he was inserted as the third man in the Fabulous Freebirds. And eventually the three Freebirds would go on to world-class wrestling, where they began one of the most famous feuds in wrestling history with the Von Erichs. And again, I can easily see this. I can easily see Danny Flamingo as Buddy Roberts. Like I say, I'm not that familiar with Danny Flamingo, I have to admit, but he looks the part. He looks like he was fit right in. So along with Brady Pierce, that now completes the Freebirds. We have the three Von Erichs with Zac Efron, Harris Dickinson, and Jeremy Allen White. And now the three Freebirds with Brady Pierce, Thrillbilly Silas Mason, and Danny Flamingo. So there are a lot of pro wrestlers that are involved in the movie. Of course, you've got Luke Sexton. He's behind the scenes. Chavo Guerrero Jr. Is working with the actors as well. He also has a small role in the movie, and there are others involved. And of course, this is some pretty cool roles for these guys, Danny Flamingo and Thrillbilly Silas Mason. Now, real quick, just because we have been covering all of the actors, even the smaller parts, the bit parts, to get as many names as we can out there that are going to be in the movie. There are some smaller roles that have also been announced over the last few weeks. I'm just going to run through those real quick. The only one I have a picture of is Mark Gibbons. He plays a bike dealer in the movie. You see him here with Chris Jericho. This is his first feature film. His only other credit is a short film called the Bloodstone Diaries, Thief of All Things. And so this is his first appearance in the feature film. Bike dealer, I'm not sure. It kind of makes me wonder if, I don't know if maybe that's the bike being sold to carry or what it is, but that's his role in the movie. And then the others, Mark Allen Yeager plays a bodyguard. He has had other roles, and he played a Confederate soldier in Emancipation, a hospital visitor in Squeaky Clean Mysteries, Hazardous Duty. So he's had a couple of roles before. And then Glenn Warner is playing VIP ticket holder. Warner has only had small bit parts before. He's got an uncredited role in Django Unchained, and he played championship supporter in Pitch Perfect. He's had other roles in smaller productions. He played a donut shop patron and a trucker and a man on cell phone. And so he's got a lot of bit parts on his resume. And then the other three are actually child actors. Grady Wilson plays young Kevin. And then the other two, I suspect these are screen names. Maybe these are somebody's twin boys or something, and they're trying to protect or they're just not necessarily twins, but they're protecting their identity somewhat, because listed as playing Jack Jr., which of course Jack Atkinson Jr. was Fritz and Doris Von Erichs' first son, who died when he was 7 years old. Romeo Newcomer is listed as playing Jack Jr., and then Valentine Newcomer is playing young David. So that is all of the cast. Like I say, you can Go back and watch some of the other videos. I think in the last one that I did, which I thought would be the final one, the one where I talked about Chavo Guerrero Jr., I went ahead and ran through all of the cast so far. We now add all of these to the list, and of course the biggest ones being Thrillbilly, Silas Mason, and Danny Flamingo playing Terry Gordy and Buddy Roberts respectively. Okay, if you want to give a look to any of the other Iron Claw videos I've done, you can check out the playlist. We talk about all the casting from Zac Efron on down to even the smaller parts. Also check out World Class Bios. I've only had a couple, one on Buddy Roberts, one on Iceman King Parsons. Got one coming up on Kamala. I ran into some, got delayed a bit by life getting in the way there for a little while, but I'm still working on that. And of course, if you'd like to check out some of the other videos on the channel, feel free. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, not necessarily in that order. And I will see you next time.